Hello, friends. Welcome to Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette's 2021 Virtual Luncheon. We're so excited to be connected with you live and virtual this year. My name is Kevin Cook. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm honored to be one of your co-hosts today.
And my name is Olivia Jarrett. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a community education and outreach coordinator here at PPCW, serving the Portland metro area. I am so excited to be here hosting with you today, Kevin.
I'm excited to be here with you too. Thanks, Olivia. We'd like to first acknowledge that PPCW's 7 health centers are on the traditional land of the Chinook, Clackamas, Kalapuya, Molalla, and Atufalati peoples. PPCW's wider service region includes the traditional lands of dozens of other tribes and includes the Warm Springs, Umatilla, Grand Ronde, Siletz, Burns, Paiute, Klamath, and Cowlitz reservations. Multnomah County is home to a vibrant Native community representing over 400 different tribal nations. It's important to move beyond acknowledgement and reflect on your own history that brought you to this place. PPCW recognizes that every person is responsible for understanding the history of colonization and genocide of Indigenous people, and to commit to learning, building relationships, and supporting Indigenous sovereignty, priorities, and actions. This land acknowledgement is one small step in an ongoing commitment for PPCW to improve their support of Indigenous communities in the area.
Thank you, Kevin. Joining us as guests watching right now, that's right, we are giving personal shout outs, are some incredible leaders and staff from PPCW's powerful community partners. We want to give you an extra special thank you for what you do to care for our communities with PPCW. We know there is power in numbers, and especially in times like these, we are so grateful for your support.
Now, to start the program, we have a little surprise for you. We have a special someone who'd like to welcome all of you today, and who better to kick things off than the Planned Parenthood Federation of America President and CEO, Alexis McGill Johnson.
Thank you, Kevin and Olivia, and hello, Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette. I wish we were together in person, but I am so grateful to get to join you virtually. Anne is leading an incredible team in Oregon and Southwest Washington. When COVID hit, they acted fast. Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette worked with political partners to ensure that abortion, family planning, and gender-affirming care remained essential services. You moved quickly to expand telemedicine services and became a critical part of the public health response, demonstrating the innovation that sets Planned Parenthood apart. Throughout this crisis, leadership and staff have always put patients first. And in the middle of all of this, you opened the LCH Hillman East Portland Health Center to help the community access the care they need. So to Anne and the entire staff, you are the reason we can say care no matter what. Each and every one of you gathered today makes this work possible. Your dedication is why we can flex the unique muscle that Planned Parenthood has developed over the years, the ability to fight back and push forward at the same time. We spent a lot of the last 4 years fighting back. Yes, we have. But now, with the inauguration of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, we can not only undo the damage of the last 4 years, we can actually move policy and our collective imagination forward. We finally have a reproductive rights majority in the Congress, and thanks to the organizing power of Black women in Georgia, yes, thank you, Black women, that includes the Senate. But even with these incredible victories, we know that the world won't change overnight. Both our country and our movement are at an inflection point as we face twin pandemics of COVID-19 and systemic racism. So we need to reckon boldly and meaningfully with our own history. Planned Parenthood is 104 years old, and we are committed to addressing structural racism, both historic and current, at Planned Parenthood. Because long after we've reckoned with our legacy, we still have to interrogate every system and process to see the ways in which racial hierarchy continues to operate. In this work, and in all of our work, we're going to need to center ourselves on the future that we are building together. We have to keep fighting until all people have the freedom to make their own decisions about their health, about their bodies, and their future. That's the work ahead. We never said it would be easy, but it's what our mission demands, and it's what our patients deserve. And if anybody can make it happen, it is Planned Parenthood supporters like you. We are 16 million strong, unapologetic, fierce, and connected by care, even when we have to be apart. None of this is possible without you. I really appreciate everything you all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. We are so proud to have you leading national Planned Parenthood efforts. I also want to give a big thank you to our presenting sponsors, Compassion and Choices, Christine and David Vernier, and Samantha Richardson. Also to our protector sponsors, Green Gables Design and Restoration, Morel Inc., Mary Overgaard and David Cook, and Evans Van Buren. Your support for PPCW is so appreciated.
This last year, the PPCW family lost a close friend and supporter, Susan Hammer, who many of you knew, respected, and loved. Susan told us she made her first donation to Planned Parenthood in 1972 as a patient and became a lifelong supporter and donor from there. She proudly served on the PPCW board from 1999 to 2005, chaired the capital campaign for the Elizabeth Flanagan Regional Services Center in Northeast Portland, and helped found the first PPCW Luncheon in 2003. Susan told us about the first year. It was the 30th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, and we had 440 attendees. Today, we sell out with more than 800 people, and it has been such a pleasure to watch the lunch grow every year. To honor her memory, we'd like to share a few words from Susan's family and friends.
She was one of those people who really could have done anything with their life and been successful at it.
This idea that women had the ability to speak for themselves, had the responsibility to do it, and that's what drew her to Planned Parenthood.
I'm gonna go put some lipstick on and be right back.
Hi, I'm Christine Bernier. Wait a minute.
We're not getting off to a very good start here.
I always knew her as Aunt Sue.
I'm her favorite niece because she has 8 nephews and 1 niece.
Hi, I'm Ann Edlin.
President and CEO of Planned Parenthood Columbia Willamette.
I really got to know Susan when I came on the Planned Parenthood board.
She became a mentor very, very quickly,
and we've been close ever since.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Hammer.
She commanded great respect because she's so highly capable.
She was the first female representative for the bar, as well as the first female president of City Club.
This toughness, this determination, this intelligence.
But she didn't lose her graciousness.
For me as a female, she just let me know that I'm always capable of whatever I want to do if I try.
She was the only daughter in her family, had 3 brothers, and I think from a young age recognized having control over one's body was a critical step for women to be able to make choices in their lives.
I need to make sure that these opportunities were open to women of all income brackets and every socioeconomic class.
She inspired us to give, and if Susan supported it, I would support it.
Even when giving up seemed like the easier, less painful, less difficult thing to do, she never gave up.
She was in the middle of a battle for her life, and she made space for me.
It's almost like we have some champion that's no longer with us.
My admiration for her was just endless.
What a beautiful video. Thank you to Susan's family and friends who shared their memories with us. On behalf of PPCW, we are dedicating this luncheon to Susan's memory.
Thank you, Kevin. By our counts, there are hundreds of you watching the Luncheon live stream right now, with guests from Alaska, hey family, to Germany. I want to thank you all for joining us in this new digital format, because after the last few months, it feels really good to be connected with like-minded folks, even from a distance. Thank you for you. Luckily for you, attending virtually means you can wear whatever you want. Pajamas, sweatpants, no pants, or maybe nothing at all. Your camera isn't on. We're never gonna know. Just like at past luncheons, you'll be hearing from PPCW's president and CEO, local community leaders, health center staff, and a truly incredible speaker. This year, we are thrilled to welcome keynote Ijoma Oluo, Planned Parenthood supporter and author of New York Times bestselling book, So You Want to Talk About Race. We are so excited for all of you to hear from Ijoma later in the program.
It's been a challenging year, but even during a global pandemic, the need for sexual and reproductive health care doesn't stop. Your support for PPCW today will help ensure that all people have access to the care they need, no matter their income level, race, gender, identity, sexual orientation, or immigration status. Because PPCW believes that every single person deserves compassionate, affirming, inclusive health care, and we know you believe that too.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kevin, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you know about sex ed?
Well, everything I learned about sex ed, I learned from the streets, the hard streets of Park Rose.
All right.
County. No, I'm just kidding. And, you know, I went to Park Rose School, and in the middle of the 80s, mid-80s, we had a health class. We didn't have a sex ed class, and sex ed was kind of sandwiched between two other, subjects in health class. So I think they taught us what they thought we needed to know, just the basics, and that certainly didn't help me. But if you know what I mean. And so, yeah, I think hopefully they've gotten better.
Yeah. Well, and Oregon has a law saying that we need comprehensive, medically accurate, age-appropriate sex ed. So we are on our way. And shout out to Park Rose, East County.
Go Broncos.
All right. Well, did you know that in addition to providing health care, PPCW is also the leading provider of sex education in Oregon and Southwest Washington? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Now you do, right?
That's fantastic.
Okay. In the education department, we engage with young people through sex education sessions and train teachers and youth service providers in how to deliver inclusive, comprehensive sex ed. And although most schools are remote right now, we are still virtually connecting with lots of young folks. In fact, I was doing that at 8:30 this morning, early morning for me. I've heard from countless teenagers who have had barely any sex ed, completely false sex ed, or literally no sex education at all. Sometimes people don't even learn about cervical mucus. Sometimes they're too scared to ask their parents about sex, and sometimes their parents are too scared to talk about sex. In my 9 years in this role, I've learned that every young person has a story. I'm also super proud. This is hot off the press. It's very exciting. So proud to be the person to announce that PPCW has met our education endowment goal of $2 million.
Wow, fantastic.
Yes, and we'll continue to raise funds for this critical program.
Oh my gosh, that's great news. And don't forget that every patient who walks through the doors of a Planned Parenthood health center also has a story. Some have lost their employer-sponsored health insurance job due to job loss during COVID. Some can't use their private insurance because their partner is abusive, or because they're on their parents' insurance and are scared of them being notified. Some have Medicaid and know that PPCW is where they can turn for their sexual and reproductive health care. Every single patient story is unique. Today, we'd like to share Krista's story about how Planned Parenthood made a difference in her life and opened up her future.
Oh my gosh. What would have happened if Planned Parenthood was not there for me? Because I moved around a lot in high school, I literally had 1 hour of sex ed. So I did not think about birth control until I got to college. I wanted to pursue my passion for mathematics, and that research is then used to help develop antibacterial drugs and anti-cancer drugs. Planned Parenthood just helped take care of me so that I can pursue my dreams. When I went into the clinic, I was very nervous. The nurse noticed that I was shaking. Worrying about your health should not be a thing. You can't parse up your sexual health, your heart's health, your mental health. Sexual health is part of your health, and Planned Parenthood is pretty much the only place that fills in that gap. Planned Parenthood needs to be protected. I thought it was a place that would always be here. I didn't realize that its existence was threatened with gag rules coming out and the threat of its funding being cut. If I look back at women in my own family, they certainly did not have control over their lives, so I feel like first-generation woman who can decide when and how I want to start a family. The nurse just said, okay, go live your life now. I felt free. Planned Parenthood helped me when I needed them, and that's never going to change.
Wow, what a powerful story. For patients like Krista, Planned Parenthood is a haven, a trusted place they can turn to for sexual and reproductive health care and education, where they'll be listened to and won't face judgment. Your support of PPCW helps patients like Krista get the care they need, no matter what.
Thanks to two of our presenting sponsors, Samantha Richardson and David and Christine Vernier, we have a matching gift of $100,000 for all of today's Luncheon gifts. That means every donation you make today will be doubled. Later in the program, you'll have an opportunity to make a meaningful gift to help PPCW provide, promote, and protect access to sexual and reproductive health care. You'll just click the Donate Now button right here above our heads somewhere and make your donation while watching live.
In the last year, we've heard from Planned Parenthood patients like Krista who receive care at our 7 health centers in Oregon and Southwest Washington. Here are some of their words. I had no guidance or understanding of how to take care of myself, and I was afraid to ask my parents, so I sought Planned Parenthood. No other clinic makes me feel as welcome and shows me that my voice matters. I don't know what I would have done without their support. Planned Parenthood has given me the confidence to feel secure in my relationships, to not fear my own body, and to know exactly where and how to get help. It has been the most consistent and respectful healthcare I've received in my adult life. These stories are amongst thousands of others from patients who come to PPCW for help. Any donation you make today helps PPCW staff serve 45,000 people a year with safe, accessible, and affordable care, and more than 10,000 young people with comprehensive sex education.
More than 90% of PPCW patient visits are for preventative sexual health care, like annual well visits, low to no cost birth control, pregnancy testing and options counseling, HPV, breast and cervical cancer screenings, safe abortion care, STI testing and treatment, hormone provision for gender affirmation, vasectomies, PrEP for HIV prevention, and HIV testing and counseling. So many services.
So many.
It's actually hard to list them all.
It's true. Since COVID-19, as many as 1 in 10 women and people with uteruses who receive sexual health care in recent years are at risk of losing their employer-sponsored health care. And because racism is entrenched into every one of our societal systems, women of color have experienced the most job losses since the pandemic and are most at risk of losing their access to health care. Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette is here for anyone who needs low to no cost sexual and reproductive health care and is often the only health care provider that our patients have access to. Your support for PPCW helps ensure that we can provide that care, essential care, to every person who walks through our doors or connects with us via telehealth.
And we know all of you watching right now support PPCW's mission. Now let's hear from some local community leaders about why they stand with Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette.
Hello, Planned Parenthood. I am Senator Kate Lieber from Senate District 14. I am proud to support Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette because they have led the charge to make Oregon a leader in access to sexual and reproductive care. Join me in becoming a monthly donor to this amazing organization.
I'm State Representative Andrea Salinas, House District 38, Lake Oswego, and Southwest Portland. I support Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette because their frontline workers are there for my community, and they provide care no matter what.
Hi, I'm State Senator Elizabeth Snyder-Hayward. As a family physician, I know that sexual and reproductive health are the underpinnings of a healthy community. That's why I'm proud to support Planned Parenthood of Columbia-Willamette.
Hi, I'm Lisa Reynolds. I'm the state representative for Oregon House District 36, Portland's West Side, and I'm a pediatrician who has referred patients to Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette. Thank you for all you do.
Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Deb Patterson, and I'm newly elected senator for District 10, which includes South and West Salem, Monmouth and Independence, Turner and Aumsville, part of Four Corners, and part of unincorporated East Salem. I support Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette because I believe that every person deserves access to affordable, quality health care, and that includes reproductive health care. Thank you for all that you do to make care available to all, no matter what.
My name is Con Pham, and I'm the state representative for Oregon House District 46. I support Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette because they understand that there can be no reproductive justice without racial justice.
Hi, this is State Senator Rob Wagner. I represent Lake Oswego, Westland, Tualatin, and Southwest Portland in the Oregon Legislature. And I support Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette because as a dad with 4 teenagers, I know that sexual health educators are empowering the next generation.
I'm Dr. Maxine Dexter, Oregon State Representative for House District 33, which includes Northwest Portland and Northeast Washington County. I support Planned Parenthood because Oregonians deserve affordable, accessible, equitable, and absolutely comprehensive healthcare. Thank you.
Governor Kate Brown here. I support Planned Parenthood of the Columbia-Willamette because they know there can be no reproductive justice without racial justice.
Hi, I'm Ellen Rosenblum, and this month I was honored to begin my 3rd term as Oregon's Attorney General. I'm delighted to be here today to celebrate the critical, life-saving work of Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette and the thousands of patients they serve every year. I like to think of myself as the people's Attorney General, working every day to advocate for and protect all Oregonians, especially those whose circumstances make them the most vulnerable. And as the first woman to serve in this role, I'm especially committed to creating a world in which your body is your own, a world where people are free because they have control over their lives, their health, and their futures. This past year has been challenging on multiple levels. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has further laid bare how crucially we need to expand people's access to health care. Last year, I was proud to work with Planned Parenthood leaders to ensure that abortion, family planning, and gender-affirming care were deemed essential health care in Oregon. The nation's long overdue reckoning with white supremacy has confirmed that racism is a public health crisis. Let's be clear, there can be no reproductive freedom unless Black communities have the freedom to live without fear of persecution from police. Meanwhile, last year's devastating wildfires reminded us that environmental justice is reproductive justice. All people deserve the right to have children, to not have children, and to parent the children they have in safe and sustainable communities. Finally, Oregonians voted in record numbers last year to ensure that all voices were heard and represented at the polls. Yet through it all, Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette has remained steadfast in providing high-quality and compassionate care to patients across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Everyone must have access to the sexual and reproductive health care and information they need to live a strong and healthy life. That idea has been Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette's North Star for nearly 60 years, and your support and commitment to the work ahead will help them continue this fight. Your health is your future, no matter who you are or where you come from. Let's build a new future together.
Thank you, state representatives and senators. And a special thank you to Governor Brown and Attorney General Rosenblum for your powerful words of support. We also have some incredible leaders watching and supporting virtually today, including Attorney General Rosenblum. Woo! We see you out there supporting
Indeed.
Planned Parenthood and being amazing. Thank you. Your support means so much to us all.
Now, I am honored to introduce our President and CEO, Ann Udall. at a safe distance from us.
Thank you, Kevin and Olivia. And thank you, Governor Brown and Attorney General Rosenblum, for your steady leadership in such a difficult year. I so wish I could be standing with all of you in a very big room right now, with the unique, noisy energy of a Planned Parenthood crowd. And I am grateful that a virtual luncheon allows so many more of our supporters to join us today from all over the country and even the world. Hello, Germany. We truly are in this together. We are all living through an unprecedented time. Last year brought us a pandemic, racial reckoning, the wildfires, RBG's death, the assault on a free and fair election, and the unleashing of the anger and hate of white supremacy. At PPCW, we continue to strengthen our commitment to addressing systemic racism within our organization, in all of our internal policies and practices, and in all of our services we offer. Our board and staff proudly stand with Black Lives Matter as we deepen our allyship. In the middle of all that we have collectively faced, PPCW never gave up and we never forgot our mission. Let me take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate with all of you the work PPCW has accomplished over this past year. When COVID hit in March, our Patient Access Center, with the help of our IT department, shifted the entire call center to remote work within a week of closing our admin building. Our clinics have never closed. It has not been easy, but PPCW's staff commitment to providing excellent health care has never wavered, as they have adapted, readapted, and yes, adapted again. Over the past year, what started as a pilot telehealth program has grown into an important option for our patients. Our amazing education team has shifted to virtual sex ed trainings, workshops, and community partner collaborations. And as Alexis mentioned earlier, last June, during the pandemic, we opened our newest location, the LCH Hillman East Portland Health Center, which replaced our old health center in Southeast Portland. Thanks to the incredible support of the Hillman family and to many of you with us today, we now have a beautiful new health center in a historically under-resourced community. We all know, and if you don't, you will quickly learn that Planned Parenthood never gives up and we never go back. For the past 60 years, our mission has never changed. We provide, we promote, and we protect access to sexual and reproductive health care and education, no matter your race, no matter your immigration status, no matter your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your income level, no matter what. We are honored to have our keynote speaker, Ijeoma Oluo, with us today, and I hope you're as excited to hear from her as I know I am. Last week, Andrea Gorman, in her inaugural poem, The Hill We Climb, said, "When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." Thank you all for attending today's virtual luncheon and for supporting Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette, because together we are brave enough to see the light and to be the light. Next, please join with me as we hear from our health center staff.
Planned Parenthood saves people's lives in a way, in all honesty. The work that we do here saved a lot of people from cervical cancer. That's what you call a superhero, in my opinion.
I had a patient who I wasn't able to get a hold of, and I found her in her vehicle crying.
And she came back after about a week and she gave me a thank you card for being there for her and for making her feel welcomed and safe.
My responsibilities would include everything.
letting them know their options with insurance,
collecting specimens, working with providers.
ask them medical intake questions, their health histories.
And then once I got here, I loved it. It was great.
The patient interaction is definitely the most rewarding part.
I've just gotten drawn further into this organization by a love of our work and the people that I do this work with.
I'd say 2 years now, and it feels like only 2 weeks, but it's gone by fast.
That week stands out to me as one of the most difficult work weeks I've ever had.
There's definitely been an influx in patient calls since COVID.
I remember being shocked and a little scared.
Talking to somebody via a computer or a phone has been a big adjustment.
Hello?
Every day was a different way of doing the same thing.
We're the ones trying to comfort them, make them feel heard.
Every person that walks in the door feels like they are as important as anyone else, and that we're going to do our best to take care of them. It's something that is misunderstood is the types of visits that we offer.
Colposcopies and LEEP procedures,
vasectomies,
hormone provision therapy,
general testing for people who want to get on birth control. Because we're seeing patients that never thought that they would come here, and we're showing them who we are and what we do, we're growing a future patient base.
And I wish that you could see what a difference Planned Parenthood makes for people every day, all walks of life. You don't have to believe in us, but we're going to be here if you need us.
I look forward to us keeping our doors open.
If I could say one thing to supporters of Planned Parenthood, it would just be thank you.
Routine healthcare is essential healthcare. Contraception is essential healthcare.
Care seems like such a basic thing, but so many people don't have access to it.
We need you. We need you.
The staff and volunteers at Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette need you. They cannot do what they do without the support from their community. That's you and all of you watching today.
Also, I just want to say, I'm an educator, right? So they're my coworkers, people in the health center and the patient access center, but they are so inspiring and they have been working so hard through this pandemic and even before. I just want to say thank you so much for doing everything you do and your words in that video.
Thank you, Olivia. Right now, we're asking all of you to stand with PPCW and make a gift of any amount. We'll go through multiple giving levels and recognize those of you who want to stand publicly with this great organization. To make your gift, you can click the Donate Now button above our heads while watching. Let's start with a giving level of $5,000.
Yes.
Click the Donate button now above this video to make your gift right now. Will anyone make a gift of $5,000?
I mean, there's got to be someone.
It looks like we have a generous $5,000 gift from supporter Holly Silver. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Holly. Will any of our virtual guests join Holly in making a $5,000 gift to support Planned Parenthood today? Stand with PPCW patients and please make a meaningful gift today because we have that $100,000 matching gift from donors Christine and David Vernier and Samantha Richardson for all Luncheon gifts. That means your support will have double the impact. Look at that, Olivia. Catherine and Gordon King,
my gosh.
Thank you for your generous gift of $5,000 for Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette. And my friend, thank you, George Amy and Peter Livingston for your gift of $5,000. That is amazing.
Which is 5,000 times 2 because it's double.
That's
is
right.
10,000. Amazing.
That's right.
Oh my
love
goodness.
it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Your incredibly generous gifts make a huge impact at PPCW and change a lot of lives.
Let's move on to our next level of giving at $2,500.
Yes.
Do we have anyone who would like to give at this level? Don't forget, thanks to our $100,000 matching funds, your gifts will be doubled. So any $2,500 gift will turn into $5,000. Thank you, Kathy and Niels Jensen, for your gift of $2,500, which has been doubled. Wow. Thank you to our friends at Perkins Coie for your generous gift of $2,500. Oh, and our friends at Cushman and Wakefield, thank you for your incredibly generous $2,500 gift, which has just been doubled.
Dang.
And look at that, Julia Ball. Thank you, Julia.
So great.
Another gift at $2,500. Thank you so much. Look
That's
at that.
amazing. I know. It's so exciting to like see it get bigger and bigger. Thank you. This is like really exciting. I knew we were gonna do it, and then I was like seeing the number.
It's so fun.
Love it.
So Ellen Rosenblum, does that say $1,000?
Oh, dang,
I think it says $1,000. Thank you, Ellen. Oh my gosh. Our next giving level is $1,000.
Good timing.
Will anyone commit to a gift at the $1,000 level? Look
I
at
see
that.
someone.
PPCW board member Becca Subzalian. Thank you for your gift of $1,000. Thank you, Bill Luzar, for your generous gift of $1,000.
And Gina Westhoff just got in with $1,000.
Oh, thank you,
Awesome.
Gina. That is awesome. And thank you, Kimberly Thompson, for your generous
Kim.
$1,000 gift. You know, Kim is the former Chief Development Officer at PPCW. We love you, Kim.
Yes, I remember.
Was that Friedland? I missed a name up there. I apologize. Yes, Rebecca Friedenwald. Thank you for your $1,000. Thank you so much. Hey, and look at that.
Ooh.
Thank you to PPCW President and CEO Ann Udall and partner Tilly Clark for your generous $1,000 gift. Chris Salt. Chris Salt came in with $1,000. Thank you, Chris.
Excellent.
Sarah Reese, thank you for your generous $1,000 gift. And Miriam Sons, thank you for your $1,000 gift, all of which have been doubled to $2,000.
I know. If I was better at math, I would have tracked that and then doubled it. I'm not as good at math.
We have people for that. We don't need to do that.
That's right. All right, let's give a virtual round of applause to those generous donors. This is super exciting. I can tell everyone watching right now that your donations help so many patients and young people access care and education that is comprehensive, affirming, and inclusive. That's what makes Planned Parenthood special, because no matter who you are, you will be listened to, you will be helped, and you will be safe in a Planned Parenthood Columbia Willamette Health Center.
That's right. Hey, look at this. We're going back a step. Betsy Henning, thank you for your $2,500, which is now doubled to $5,000. Thank you, Betsy. And also Meryl Haber for her $1,000. Actually, you want to know what? So it's $1,023.
It's true.
Our numbers are coming in a little wonky, and I'll tell you why. These generous donors have picked up the fee also, so PPCW doesn't have to worry about paying that fee for the processing. That is fantastic.
It is really fantastic.
That extra bit of generosity is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Amber Hillman at $1,000. Thank you, Amber.
Oh, dang.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So now, let's check this out. Our next giving level is $500.
Wait, Gary Berger! Gary Berger!
Gary wasn't going to let us move on to $500. Gary Berger said, wait, I want to donate $1,000 today. Thank you, Gary. Oh, and Kristen Bremer.
Ooh, dang.
$2,557. I love these odd amounts. They're fabulous.
Yeah, this is really fun.
$2,557. Thank you so much. Now, we are moving on to the $500 level. Can anyone make a gift of $500 right now to support Planned Parenthood? I bet so. Thank you to Diane Rodway and John Becker for your generous gift of $500.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Bonnie New, for your $500 contribution. And Marion Griffith, thank you for your $500 donation. Tracy Wheeler is jumping in at $1,000. Earl Blumenauer and Margaret Kirkpatrick, $1,000. Thank you so much. Now, those $500 donations are coming in fast and furious, Olivia. We have Harriet Heggie at $500, Donna Morris at $500, Pip Denhart at $500, Sherry Roden at $500. Thank you. Remember, all of those are now doubled to $1,000. $500. That is fantastic. All right, look at this. Our next giving level is $250. Can anyone make a gift of $250 right now to support Planned Parenthood? Remember, your $250 is automatically turned into $500. Thank you, Liz Costa, for your generous gift of $250, which has been doubled. And Corey Allen, thank you for your $250 donation. Christy Dupree, thank you for your $250. And Sue Porter, thank you for your $250.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt? We just got a few $1,000 donations. Lauren Smith, John Reisman, Helen Jarrett, that's a family member from Alaska, and then another anonymous $1,000 donation. Oh my God, that's so
that's
exciting.
wonderful. And look at that, Isabel Gill gets $500. Thank you so much. You know, we just got a $250 donation from my dear friend, Carol Collymore. Thank you, Casey. Thank you so much.
All right. What else we got?
Okay, our next giving level is $100. Can anyone make a gift of $100 right now to support Planned Parenthood?
I know Margot Martin can. Hey, girl.
And thank you,
Missed
Barclay. And, sorry, we scrolled up. I apologize. Barclay and Katrina Grayson for your gift of $100. Thank you so much. Our $100 gifts are coming in.
We also just got a $1,000 donation from Martha Gosich, Linda Besant.
And thank you so much, Lisa Watson. Hey, Lisa, my friend,
yeah.
$250. Thank you so much. Amy Edwards, $256. I like that. And, Jordan Schoonover at $154. Melinda McCoy at $512. Thank you so much. Now, we're moving on to our $50 giving
I
level.
recognize someone there. I interrupted you again.
That's okay.
Okay, I did. I'm really excited.
Our
$50.
final giving level is $50. Will you make a gift at $50 level to support our local Planned Parenthood health centers? Thank you, Julia Simpson, for your gift of $50.
I also saw a gift from Elizabeth Moran for $50. Also someone I know. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. There is a lot coming in at all the levels. And yep, so now we're going to move on. I'd like to thank you all of our generous supporters who gave generously today, and to guests who gave during registration. Get this, just during registration, guests donated an incredible $35,000 in support of the mission. You can make your gift out. If you'd like to send a check, you can make your gift out to PPCW, write Luncheon in the memo line, and send it to PPCW at 3727 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Portland, Oregon, 97212. All luncheon donations will be doubled thanks to our matching gifts from Christine and David Vernier and Samantha Richardson.
I also just saw Brianne Hoffey. We got so many people here. We are so grateful to all of you for standing with us and for supporting the patients and staff at PPCW. We have a lot of staff watching this live stream right now, and I know that if they could, they would give you all out there a huge thank you on behalf of the organization and the people we serve. At Planned Parenthood Columbia-Willamette, we know that the goal of reproductive justice is not only about access to abortion, healthcare, and birth control, it is about choice, which is unattainable until all people in our communities are able to care for their children and families without fear of violence and systemic injustices. People of color face escalating hatred, white supremacy, and racism. And we know that systemic racism is hardwired into our economic, political, and judicial and healthcare systems. The patients that we serve at PPCW have intersecting identities, and we must acknowledge the barriers they face in order to care for them as whole people. And like Alexa said earlier, we will not stop fighting until all people have the freedom to make their own decisions about their health, their bodies, and their futures.
Thank you, Olivia. We know there can be no reproductive justice without racial justice. And our keynote speaker has so much wisdom to share about reproductive justice and why racial justice is a key part of Planned Parenthood's mission. Our keynote speaker is a Seattle-based writer, speaker, and self-described internet yeller. Her work on social issues such as race and gender have been published in The Guardian, The Stranger, Washington Post, Elle Magazine, NBC News, and more. Her New York Times best-selling first book, So You Want to Talk About Race, was released January 2018 with Seal Press. She was named one of the most influential people in Seattle by Seattle Magazine, one of the Root's 100 most influential Americans in 2017 and 2018, and is the recipient of the 2018 Feminist Humanist Award by the American Humanist Association, the Media Justice Award this League, and the 2018 Aubrey Davis Visionary Leadership Award by the Equal Opportunity Institute. So now, the moment we've all been waiting for, please join me in welcoming Ijeoma Oluo.
When I started writing and speaking on issues of race and identity in America, I did so out of a place of frustration and desperation. I was frustrated that we couldn't talk about these serious issues that were impacting millions of people across this country. And I was desperate because lives were at risk. I wanted my community, my family, to be safe from systemic racism in our society. I found often that when I tried to talk not just about the most egregious racism we could find, but about how our systems work and how we participated in these systems and how everyday people could be supporting and upholding harm against populations of color, I was often met with resistance. The truth is that even in our racial justice movements, it is easy to ignore intersectionality and to ignore our own culpability and the harm done to others. When I started writing and speaking on issues of reproductive justice, I was then not surprised to see the same reluctance to embrace true intersectionality in the fight for reproductive justice. I was not surprised that it was seen often as unwelcome to talk about issues of race, to talk about issues of class, and so many other issues that impact the ways in which we interact with issues of reproductive justice in this country. It is important that we recognize that reproductive justice without intersectionality is not reproductive justice, and that there are so many issues that impact reproductive justice in this country. A lot of the times when people think of Planned Parenthood, they think of abortion. A lot of times when people think of reproductive justice, they think of abortion. We all know that reproductive rights have constantly been under attack in this country. We understand that even though abortion care is only one of many important services that Planned Parenthood provides, that abortion rights must always be a central component of the fight for reproductive justice. But the traditional focus on abortion rights and the way in which it has been focused on in the history of our movements has often been anti-intersectional in nature and often ignores that while abortion is a fundamental right, it is only a choice when all reproductive and parenting options are open to all people. If we are to truly embrace intersectional reproductive justice, we must understand how big the issue of reproductive justice is. And we must fully embrace intersectional reproductive justice if we want our work to be sustainable and effective. In our history, it cannot be denied that our movements have failed people of color, trans people, non-binary people, disabled people, fat people, and so many others who need reproductive care and reproductive justice. So how do I define reproductive justice? Here are some of the ways. First and foremost, reproductive justice is reproductive health care that affirms the dignity and autonomy of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, of queer people, trans people, non-binary people, asexual people, disabled people, fat people, poor people, people who are incarcerated, and people who are houseless. Reproductive justice is freedom from sexual coercion and assault. It is safety in your home and in your family. Reproductive justice is access to safe and affordable childcare. It is the ability to be safe and to keep your family safe from state and police violence. Reproductive justice is access to quality education for yourself and your family that is free from bigotry, violence, and erasure. Access to safe and affordable housing. It is access to healthy and culturally relevant food, access to clean air, access to clean water. Reproductive justice is a voice and choice in the formulation of reproductive health care law and policy. It is equal access to profit from reproductive health care services and products. These are some of the many things that make up reproductive justice. It is important to recognize that we do not have true choice in our reproduction if we do not have access to full opportunity. To call the one or two or three choices that are often all that is left to some of our most marginalized people in society reproductive choice is a cruel lie. We only get to reproductive justice when our choices are unencumbered by our race, our class, our sexual identity, and so many other identities and circumstances in our society. 2020 and the beginning of 2021 has been a time of extreme challenges for just about everybody. But it has not challenged everybody equally. We have seen this past year, once again, how one crisis is greatly exacerbated by long-standing systemic inequities and bias. We have seen how populations of color, how poor people, incarcerated people, people who are houseless, have been disproportionately impacted during this horrific pandemic. And we have seen how the pandemic has been exacerbating issues that our communities have long faced. Reproductive health care and reproductive justice are not exempt from the systemic inequities and biases in our society. And it is important to recognize that the issues that we fail to address in reproductive justice will exacerbate other societal issues that vulnerable populations face, and that the other issues that our populations face will exacerbate the reproductive justice issues that we see. This is not something that we can ignore. Not if we don't want to turn around one day and see that in our efforts for justice, we have continued the oppression of others. So where can we start? First, it is important that we have a thorough accounting and acknowledgement of the ways in which our reproductive justice movements have done harm through the years to marginalized populations. It is important that we listen to the harm that has been done and that we acknowledge our part in it. It is important that we know where we have been, not only to counter the collective gaslighting that many marginalized people have faced within our movements, but also to figure out where we need to go. It is important to listen to people in marginalized communities, to listen to what has long been said that we have failed to do and need to do. It is also important that we figure out what is being done within marginalized communities to bridge the gaps that our movements often leave when we fail to embrace intersectionality. It is important that instead of reinventing those same actions, that we support and amplify the work being done within marginalized communities to provide reproductive justice and reproductive care. It is important that we look at what barriers are in place that are stopping marginalized communities from realizing their own stated goals in reproductive justice. And we look at where we intersect with those barriers and where we have power to make change. It is important that we recognize where we have been a part of those barriers as well. And with that, we set goals. We set goals in the stated measures of success set by marginalized populations. And we stay accountable to those goals. It is important that we continue to learn and grow, that we be open to changing course. And it is vital that our learning and our growth remain actionable, that the people who have been harmed by our past failures feel the changes that we are making. We are not in this for our edification alone. This may seem like a lot of work. It may seem almost insurmountable. And so if you need inspiration, look to the communities who have been doing this work without the access and the privilege that your organization has had. Let it inspire you and also obligate you to meet that work and support that work and recognize how much more you need to do in order to support not only communities who have been doing a lot of this work without adequate funding and access and support, but also to make sure that you are truly living up to your values and truly supporting reproductive justice. This is work I know we can do. I know because it is work that we have been doing in community after community for years after years. It is time that we come together and do this work as one, and that we recognize that our liberation is collective, and that we cannot have liberation for any community if we allow systems of oppression to remain in the name of expediency. It is important that we do the hard work of looking at ourselves where we have been complicit in harm, where we have failed to do better. If there is one hopeful lesson that I think we can take out of this past year, I hope it is how flexible and how quickly we can learn a new way. Think about how much of our lives we have changed this past year. The way I am speaking with you now is an example of that change. Look at how we've been changing our school systems, our employment systems, the ways in which we get services to people, the ways in which we connect to each other. The old excuse that caring for our most marginalized and listening to our most marginalized people is too much work, too much to ask, takes much more time than we have, doesn't fly in a year where we have changed pretty much everything that we know and how we interact with the world so drastically. We have shown that what we have lacked is not ability, but will. Now is a chance to affirm our belief in the humanity of all people, our belief that reproductive health care and reproductive freedom is a fundamental right and not a privilege. We can do this work now. We just have to get started. I look forward to what we can do together, especially right now as we reimagine so many systems. I hope that we look to them with an intersectional lens, while we are creating new ways of coming together and providing care, that we make sure we are not leaving behind our most vulnerable members of our populations, that we are instead moving forward together and stating that everyone deserves reproductive care. Thank you.
Thank you, Ijoma, for taking the time to speak with us today and share your words with all of us. To all of you out there watching us live, we thank you. We hope you enjoyed the program this afternoon. Your donations and support have an incredible impact on our community and your community, and it means so much to have you standing with PPCW, especially right now. On behalf of staff and patients, thank you.
As a staff member of PPCW, I see the impact your gifts make every day. And let me tell you, you can and you are making a difference in the lives of so many patients and young people by supporting our work.
We'd like to give extra special thanks to LNS Captioning for making our program accessible with live captions. Tomorrow Inc., Vibrant Table, Remy Wines, the fabulous team at the AV department, and Jason Green, Liz, Mohan, and Jade Hollingsworth.
Quick shout out to our development crew for putting this on. Hey! And we'd like to thank the board of directors of PPCW for their leadership, especially throughout the last year.
Thank you again to our presenting sponsors, Samantha Richardson, Christine and David Vernier, and Compassion and Choices. And thank you to our protector sponsors for their generous support.
Thank you all for joining and supporting, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Take care. Bye.
It's a little bow.
Oh, yep.